Chelsea Football Club don't care and they're going to keep spending money because Gabriel Mercado is a wonder kid from Brazil and looks set to be leaving in January. His agent, the agent of Erling Haaland, has come out and spoken publicly. I'll break it down and I'll explain why Chelsea's front and center. Number two, well, it looks like Chelsea can sign players for Strasbourg, all the multi-club clubs, purely based on the fact that the Premier League vote was in. We're going to break it down. We're going to look at what was voted on and why this is phenomenal news for Chelsea Football Club and why Newcastle are most probably going to benefit from it as well. And finally, I think it's time to be very positive because it looks like Malo Gusto, it looks like Christopher Nkunku, it looks like Romeo Lavia and Levi Colwill are all raring to go for the Newcastle game, and we're going to break it down. We're going to talk about why this international break has been the best one for Mauricio Pochettino in a long while. Let's go. Welcome to the Kavkas View, Bratuki. You guys clearly like the running order, that's why you made it this far. But before we move on, I think it's a little bit of rent paying time, right? Number one, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's the easiest way you guys can support me. Number two, subscribe. Guys, we are on 31,200. Can we get to 300? Literally, I think we're like 30 people away from doing it. So please, subscribe now. It is the best way of you guys getting all your latest Chelsea related news. And finally, if you're interested in more content from me, TikTok is in the pinned comment. My Instagram, if you guys want to see what I get up to, I go to a lot of restaurants. So if you guys want reviews about restaurants in London and stuff, follow me there. Now let's move on with the story. I think we need to start with the big one. And the big story is regarding the fact that Premier League clubs have had a massive vote today. All 20 clubs sat down around a table or electronically, I don't know how it's done, and they all managed to vote on a massive topic. And the topic involved multi-clubs and the ability to loan from entities that you're associated with. So a lot of newspapers have been covering recently that Ruben Neves could be on his way to Newcastle United. And this is big for Chelsea because Chelsea already owns Strasbourg. Chelsea have been looking on acquiring Sporting Lisbon, and Chelsea have been looking on acquiring more clubs. But the vote has been in. Ben Jacobs has revealed it, Fabrizio Romano has revealed it, and the vote went 13-7 in the favour of the fact that clubs shouldn't be allowed to loan players or buy loan players directly from the associated clubs. You need a majority, and a majority in this case is 2/3 of the Premier League's number, and in this case you need 14. And the reason you need 14 is because it means it gives you 2/3 of the majority. But it didn't happen. There were 7 clubs that said no, and we can deduce this allegedly, but purely based on the fact of just using our brains, right? So Chelsea Football Club have a multi-club. They would want to have access to their loan players. Manchester City have multiple clubs, whether it's in India, Brazil, in Europe, Girona in Spain. Like, they definitely would want this access. Newcastle have been pro this for a while. The 2 clubs that most of you won't know is Everton. Everton would definitely want this because 777 are about to acquire them. They've got shares in Lorient in France. So evidently they would want that relationship to last. And Bournemouth. Bournemouth have a few multi-club systems with their ownership group. So the question is, who are the other 2? I've got no clue who the other 2 are. I wouldn't even be able to guess. What my inclination would be is any of the other 2 most probably have an intention of getting a multi-club system, because there's no reason they would want the other clubs to have an advantage of this magnitude. So this essentially means that Chelsea will be continuing to have a good relationship with Strasbourg, and Chelsea will most probably acquire more clubs. And this could also mean players from Strasbourg could come on loan to Chelsea, which is very interesting. The second story we need to look at is Gabriel Mercado. Gabriel Mercado is basically a regen of Declan Rice. Based on what everyone is saying and based on the clips that I've seen, he reminds me of Rice a lot. He's got the same buzz cut when Rice first came out of the youth academy. His build is exactly the same. He's very aggressive in the way he covers ground. He eats up tackles for fun, and he just keeps it very simple. I wouldn't even say he's phenomenal technically, but I'm gonna say this, and I mean it in the most respectful way. I have not seen enough of him to give you a definitive judgment. But what I do know is the hype around him is massive, and the massive hype is not ending. He is officially signed with a massive agent, and the agent is Rafaela, I think it's Pamela, if I'm not mistaken, and she is the agent of Erling Haaland. If I butchered her name, I want to apologize. You don't know me in names. I mean no disrespect. Like, literally, literally, until I hear someone say it, then I'll work on the pronunciation. Otherwise, I'm horrible at it. But she has come out and said the player will basically move in the winter. We're not going to say where. He wants a European adventure. He's very excited about this. And she basically confirmed his leave. What we've heard religiously is that Chelsea have an offer above 25 million on the table. And I think at the end of this month or at the start of next month, Corinthians will have a presidential election. When their president comes in, the new one or the existing one retains, they will be able to decide whether this fee is enough or not and move the player on. The fact that it's above 25 million pounds at age 17 for a kid tells me this kid has got a lot of talent, but more importantly, they really value him high, because the fact that a Brazilian entity does not want to let go of a player for 25 million pounds sterling is mad. This isn't even rupees, this isn't even pesos, this isn't even euros or dollars. This is £1 million sterling. Like, let that sink in. That is crazy amounts of money for a kid that's essentially done nothing in the game. So it is absolutely mind-boggling what Chelsea are doing. But then we need to ask questions as Chelsea fans, because what I'm going to ask you guys now is, what happens to our depth? Because let's look at it I've separated these players into 3 segments, right? We're going to have players that are untouchables, players that essentially have been brought into the squad recently and are going nowhere. Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo, Romeo Lavia. I don't need to explain why. Lavia is 65 million and the other 2 are 100 million pound players. They have got a massive future at Chelsea. Player number 3 is in a bracket of his own. Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher is Maurizio Pochettino's boy. Like, you can really tell Poch rates him highly. Pochettino thinks he's integral to the team. He's a vital member of the squad. He gives experience, he gives commitment, he gives passion, he gives drive, and he gives leadership. And he's also English, which is very important to Maurizio Pochettino, because he always says English players in an English culture is integral. So he ain't going nowhere. Then it gives you the potential that we've already invested in. So we've got Leslie Ogochukwu, we got Cassidy that's at Leicester, we got Andrea Santos, who is meant to be the next big thing, who I think is a very good player. We also have, at this moment in time, Kane Chukwuemeka, and that's 4 players already. Combine that with the rest, that's 8 for 3 positions. I don't know who else we have on loan, and I'm not sure if I've forgotten anyone. But adding Gabriel Mascado to this limit is absolutely hoarding talent. Like, I don't understand what Chelsea are trying to do here. Because if you're acquiring players for 7, 8, 9 million, 10 million, 12 million, I get it. You loan them out a couple times, they have a few appearances in Europe, all of a sudden you sell them for 20 million, 25 million, boom, you've remade that money. And you made a beautiful profit on top. However, if you go and acquire a Leslie Ogochukwu or a Gabriel Mascado for 25 million, for 22 million, the next flip up is expensive. He's gonna cost you 35 to 40 million to make this worthwhile with the agent fees and everything. So I don't understand what Chelsea are trying to do. I'm a little bit confused. I'm a little bit worried, actually, if I'm gonna be honest, that this really strikes me as just collating talent for the sake of collating talent and not having a plan of how to integrate these kids into a squad. But I'm not going to be reactionary. If he joins, good luck to the kid. If he doesn't, I am very interested to see like what the hell he's going to do in his next team. But Chelsea are moving mad. The final story we need to talk about is about the individuals that are in training. So there have been many Chelsea players that have been pictured in training at this moment in time, and Pochettino has had a very good training sessions from the start of the international break till present day, purely based on the fact that Levi Colwill is fully fit and in training. We've got Malo Gusto, who's in training consistently. We got Christopher Nkunku and Romeo Lavia that are going stride for stride and are catching up, and got 4 more training sessions to prove their fitness. But why has this been such a good preseason training, essentially? Purely based on the fact that Thiago Silva, Robert Sanchez, Reece James, Malo Gusto, Nkunku, Lavia are all at the club still. Cucurella, all players that are expected to start against Newcastle or have a big role. Armando Broja, all these players, I've got coaching time with Maurizio. We can do tactics, we can do shape work, we can almost prepare the team so when the others return, such as Conor Gallagher, Enzo and Caicedo, they slide in. Raheem Sterling is even there. So this just essentially puts us in a very good place as a Chelsea team that is ready to go to Newcastle, and hopefully we secure the 3 points. It is imperative we secure these 3 points. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care who, what, where. We need to get 3 points at St. James's Park. They've got enough injuries. We are good enough as a team to go there and make a statement victory. I don't care if they're in the Champions League. We will and we should do this. There'll be no video tomorrow, guys, because I'm going to take a little day off, and purely based on the fact that there won't be an accumulation of data unless something goes crazy, and then I'll make a video. But hit the like button, and if you made it this far, thank you very much. So if you be kind to subscribe, share this video with your friends and family. I think this is the best way. Guys, honestly, the shares are the best way you guys can support if you've already subscribed and hit the like button. Share it on your social media networks. Clip some videos up, explain, share it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It's the best way to help me out. Peace out, I'm out. Have a lovely evening.